We've all seen the headlines. We think we understand stories like this. A woman who had it all. A title, a career, a life people envied, a tragic ending. But what if that's not the full story? What if the version we saw was the version she needed us to believe? And the truth was something she was carrying alone the entire time? The truth is, not everything is what it seems. Behind every story, there's more than what we're told. This is where we ask the questions others avoid, where we say the quiet parts out loud. Welcome to Unspoken Truths Unfiltered.
The truth is, some of the people you think are doing the best are just the best at hiding when they're not. And that perfect life that we all keep chasing, it's not something people live. It's something that they keep up. We scroll, we compare, we fill in the blanks. She's so happy. Look at how good she's doing. She's doing so good. She's figured it all out. She's got it all together.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're thinking, I wish I had my life together. I wish I could be what they are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But you don't actually know that. You're just guessing, or you're just believing what you see on social media or anywhere online, really. And most of the time, you are wrong. Very wrong. Because nobody posts the version of their life that's failing or falling apart, do they?
No. I mean, who wants to show that? They're called highlight reels, not low light reels.
That's right. They always post the version that keeps people from asking questions, keeps people from asking, what's wrong? Are you okay? Anything I can do to help? Some people have to put on this facade that their life is perfect.
There's always that one person. Come on, you know it. That one person, either you went to high school with or you worked with, that, man, she's got it locked in. She's got the best job. She's so confident. She's so pretty. Her presence. And you're just like, why can't I have that? She walks into a room and doesn't even hesitate. She's just on.
Mm-hmm. And you think, I wish I felt like that. Why can't I be like that? What does she have that I don't?
It's funny, though, because I actually think you do have a lot of that.
What?
You walk into a room and you just like light the room up with your energy.
That's because I'm 6'1". So just putting that out there, guys. You can't miss me when I walk into the room. I'm a big girl. But here's what you don't think about, okay? What it costs to look like that all the time. Because once people see you that way, you don't really get to step outside of it. You don't get to just fail at something all the time. You have to keep up that facade. You become the reliable one, the one who doesn't crack, the one who figures it out. So what happens when you're not okay? You don't say it. Because now there's an expectation, and expectations don't leave room for you to fail.
When you count on people to be strong, you start feeling like you're not allowed to be anything but. And here's where it shifts. It's not even about other people anymore. You start holding on to yourself as that standard. You start making it all about you having to be this standard. And it's just going higher and higher. You're competing with yourself to be perfect.
Yes. And you're competing with what you think people think of you. And that, my friends, is dangerous territory.
Slippery slope.
Slippery slope. You ignore these things you deal with. You push through things that are actually really affecting you mentally and physically. You tell yourself, I'll just deal with it later. I'll put it aside.
Push it down, suck it up, keep going, and start the new day with being as perfect as you can be the next day.
Exactly.
But inside, that's not stopping, that inner monologue of failure.
Right. It's not. And that's the part that nobody admits.
Yeah.
Sometimes the version of the people you admire, I admire you too, by the way. I never said that earlier. Sorry. Is the version that's costing you the most.
Yeah.
That version that you want to be, that you see in somebody else. It did not come easy, and it's often not real. So you're setting yourself up to fail. You're setting yourself up to be something that's not even real. Okay, guys, there is a case that stays with us. There's always a case that stays with us, but this week we're talking about the perfect life. And this case stays with us not because it was loud, but because why? Why did it happen? It didn't look like it should happen at all. Cheslie Kryst, she was 30, an attorney, Miss USA. She was working as a correspondent in New York, living in New York.
She's so beautiful.
Beautiful. She was a top 10 finalist in the Miss Universe pageant as well.
What? I didn't know she was in the top 10. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful. But she was not just successful. She was respected, and she was bubbly and kind, and everyone that we've researched and looking into this case of hers has mentioned how electric her personality was.
You could see it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you could just see her bubbliness, and she was funny too.
Just definitely contagious. She did everything right. Everything right.
She was successful, ambitious. She, did well in school and in her career. I mean, she was everything.
Everything that a perfect life would be.
Until it wasn't.
Right, exactly. Cheslie Kryst, Miss USA 2019, died by suicide on January the 30th, 2022. At the young age of 30, after jumping from her 29th floor balcony apartment in Manhattan. Before that, she posted a photo, just a normal photo, with a caption that said, "May this day bring you rest and peace." And that's it. Police responded to the 911 call at 7:13 a.m. and she was pronounced passed at the scene. And she had left a letter to her mother.
First, I'm sorry. By the time you get this, I won't be alive anymore, and it makes me even more sad to write this, because I know it will hurt you the most. I love you, Mom, and you are my best friend and the person I've lived for years. I wish I could stay with you, but I cannot bear the crushing weight of persistent sadness, hopelessness, and loneliness any longer. I've never told you these feelings because I've never wanted you to worry and because I hoped they would eventually change, but I know they never will. They follow me through every accomplishment, success, family gathering, friendly dinner, and they are loudest during my failures, setbacks, and heartbreak. I've cried so hard my face has swollen and my teeth ache. I cry almost every day now like I'm in mourning. I've wished for death for years, and I know you would want to know and want to help, but I haven't wanted to share this weight with anyone. Regardless of that, thank you, sincerely, for being there for me in some of my loneliest moments without me even telling you I needed you. My birthday, New Year's Eve, when we watched the ball drop. Israel. You have kept me alive and ready to face another day because you answer every phone call. You are there for me at the drop of a hat. You listen to me and care when I tell you what goes on in my life. And you've always made me feel like you love me. I love you more than any person I've ever known. You've done nothing wrong and you've done everything right. I no longer feel like I have any purpose in life. I don't know if I ever really did. I don't know what tomorrow or next month or a year from now holds, but I don't believe it will provide me any advancement or happiness. It feels like God has forgotten me or is tormenting me or trying to teach me a lesson I'll never understand. I've pushed away most of my friends, and I can't fix any of it, no matter how hard I've tried. So, I will leave and rejoin God in heaven and hope to find peace there. I don't want to leave, but I genuinely feel like I have to, if I want to escape my loneliness that feels like it has no end. I've fought against depression for a long time, but it's won this time around. There aren't enough words in the world to describe my love and appreciation for you. You are the perfect mom, and I will love you forever, even in death. Feel free to share this message. People should know that you're the best mom in the world, and that you are the best mom to me that I ever could have hoped for. Cheslie.
That's just, I could not even imagine what her mother was feeling. And I could not even imagine what Cheslie was going through internally, because outwardly she looked like she had the perfect life. One point in the book, it says she wasn't ready to talk about it. She didn't want to, I feel like she didn't want to be a burden in a way. And that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
To feel that lonely and that sad and that alone and not be able to share it with anyone.
I mean, she said that she felt like she had no purpose, and that is soul crushing when you see how much she's accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the list is endless.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she doesn't know if she ever felt purpose. I'm having a hard time even communicating this because
I know,
it's just
same.
so gut-wrenching.
It is. And I think that her mother, April Simpkins, and it's the byline is also Cheslie Kryst. They were her memoirs, Cheslie's, and April just pours her heart out into this book. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you should definitely buy it and
That's
read
the
it.
word I'm looking for. Beautiful
Dedication.
thank you, to her daughter.
And her daughter said, I want you to share this with people
Mhm.
because, she gave something of herself. She's going to help people through this.
The truth is, there's always more beneath the surface. This is Unspoken Truths Unfiltered.
All right, guys, I am headed in to interview Alan Ritchson, who is stepping into some pretty legendary shoes, those of Tom Cruise, as Alan takes over as the new Jack Reacher.
We can't ignore when this was happening. January of 2022. It was during the time of COVID, right? Where everything was shutting down. So New York City at that time was still very much a COVID world.
It was bad too. It was really bad up there. I had a friend that she was a nurse and she went up there to work because they had so many cases of sick people. They needed all the help they could get.
Yeah, and I had friends who were there who left because it was that bad. Like they were like staying with relatives, getting out of the city. And so isolation wasn't just emotional, it was physical at that time. Masks, wearing masks everywhere, distance between people, less connection.
You're so right. I mean, we need human connection. And when you go back and look at Cheslie Kryst's Instagram, you see her beautiful photos, how styled and polished and just gorgeous she was. She was standing on her balcony overlooking the city in a lot of those, but she was alone. So it was definitely during COVID, and that alone could make you feel very isolated. And especially if you were struggling with mental health issues to begin with. I can't imagine the struggle she was going through during that time.
I was working in television during that time, but I didn't have to be on camera. But I can just imagine the pressure of being the one who was on camera during that time. And then you're feeling that as well. Pressure for your job, pressure for being with friends, just alone.
Yeah. You can still be visible, but completely isolated.
There was actually research backing that up. I read this article based on research analyzing mental health conversations during the pandemic. And they actually said during COVID, young adults reported significantly higher levels of social isolation and loneliness, which, as we know, are linked to depression. And one study even found that the conversations about depression spiked online during that time. People shifted from talking about dating and everyday life to searching for connection, for community, for emotional support.
That definitely tracks because when real life connection disappeared during COVID, people went looking for it anywhere they could find it. And her mom, April Simpkins, also shared it comes through also in Cheslie's writing in her memoir. By the time you read this, which we've shared in this episode, this wasn't just a sudden collapse. This was someone who had been quietly struggling for years.
Yeah. It's high functioning depression, which means you can be winning and achieving and smiling, but you're still losing the fight internally. And I think that's the part that messes with people because we were always taught to look for someone falling apart, for those warning signs, not someone holding it all together.
And who's to know that didn't play a big part? That's the question here. All of this playing a huge part in what led to her death. We're telling you this. There was no criminal case. There was no homicide here, but it still was a tragedy. And after the fact of this terrible tragedy, you want to think, what were the signs? Were there any signs? Were there any red flags?
Yeah, because as, true crime addicts, we're taught to look for red signs. And that is the point of our podcast, is to help glean things from tragedies so that we can turn it into some sort of goodness to help people.
Yeah.
Or at least to get people to think about another side and how, learn something and take something away from it.
Be better people.
The truth is like there were no red flags because she didn't want there to be.
Yes, exactly. She was hiding it and she didn't feel like she could talk with anyone. And that breaks my heart. And I know there's so many people out there that do advocate for people struggling with depression and mental health struggles. And I'm not qualified to help them, but we are qualified to give resources. So again, as every episode, you can see on our website the resources if you are in need. We're here to talk too if you just need someone to talk and feel alone. This case, it really stays with us because of the perfect life that she had, or that people would say she had, and how it's not always that way. Someone struggling as deeply as she was, that's what makes this so uncomfortable to talk about. And the only thing we see is something that looks like peace and happiness. And then maybe that's why we're not as good as at recognizing. But like you said, she also probably didn't want to show it. This case doesn't sit right with me personally because I do not struggle with depression. I struggle with anxiety, but it's still a struggle. And I know every day you balance a lot. I'm a mother of 2 sons, a wife. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I always have, always since I was young. And that's my personality. So I connect with her there. But this case doesn't sit right with me because I can't imagine struggling to get to that perfect life and succeed in all the ways that she did with her goals and still feel hopeless.
She was doing all these things. And when you look at her life, you think, if I could do any of those things, my life would be so much better.
Yes.
But the truth is we're putting the wrong pressures on ourselves and we're doing it to ourselves.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say, but I was terrible at doing it.
I'm just picking up what you're putting down, I
Yes.
mean, but literally, we're putting that all on us. And
Yeah.
that's the point.
Yeah.
We have to stop doing that to ourselves.
We absolutely do. Yes.
Easier said than done, but seriously, I think it's looking at something like this.
Yes.
If everything that we want, because I even did that, right? I was always like, I got to get the next job or make more money or do the next best
Big
thing
thing.
or big thing, like always to feel growth. When if I actually put my faith in God first
Yes.
and stopped worrying so much about what everybody else is thinking about me, it'd be a lot easier.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, why are we being so competitive? Will somebody please tell me why? Why? Why are we sitting here trying to compete with the Joneses? Why are we even competing with ourselves to a certain extent? Sometimes you just got to give yourself some grace. Just say, it's okay. I'm having an off day. Things aren't going to work out. This sucks. I
Yeah.
mean, it's okay to not be okay. And this also reminds me of after I had my boys. They were babies, 3 and an infant. And I had a friend of mine, we'd caught up back home and we were talking and she said, "Oh, girl, you just look like you got it all going on. You got it together." And she just recently had her first baby. And she's like, "We just see you on social media and all your posts and everything looks so happy and you're doing so well with 2 kids." And I said, "Girl, don't believe those lies. I'm losing my mind over here." I mean, no sleep. No, it's a lot. Life is a lot. It doesn't matter if you're a mother, if you're a working woman.
Yep.
Everybody has issues and we're not here to point fingers at people. We're not here to say we're perfect. By no means am I perfect. And we're not here. We're just trying to help people, like expose the truth, expose these issues, and try to find a means that we can all come together on the same page, not compete with each other, not put each other down, live through kindness, and try to survive these years of struggles, no matter what thing it is you're struggling with.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot easier to start looking at the things you do have than the things you don't have. And I really do believe that because we build each other up, right? Even when we're
Yes.
having bad days.
Yes, we do.
It is. It's like I'm having a bad day. I don't have this, but I do have this, and I'm thankful for it.
Yes.
And I'm trying to live that every day.
It's hard. My father, he used to be a minister, and we have pep talks every morning that I'm thankful for. And he said, "Do you want to be less negative or do you want to be more positive?" It's something to think about. And it's really hard when you're struggling with mental health problems, or when you're struggling with anything. I mean, like what we're doing right now, we've started this new brand and we're out here giving it everything we have. We lost our jobs. That's a huge deal. And we're trying to survive and still be the mothers that we want to be, in which that's another pressure in itself. And the wives we want to be, that's another pressure. Do you want to be less negative or more positive? They're not the same thing.
Right. And I think that is probably the truth we live by.
Mm-hmm.
Because what this really means is I don't think this is about success or how successful we are. It's really about pressure, the pressure that we're putting on ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
You can't turn off pressure. Once you have that pressure, you have to maintain it.
Well, once it becomes your identity.
Correct. Yes.
I think that we're talking and then the other one's explaining what
Exactly.
they mean. I love that. I love that narrative we've got going on today because my words aren't coming as well.
You're like my personal chat GPT. Like I say some garbage and you're like, "This is amazing," and I'll turn it into something that makes sense. You guys know it's true. It's so true.
It is true. I can just gibber, and it knows what I'm trying to say. That's not even a word, but it still knows what I'm trying to say. It's amazing.
But yeah, tell me what you're saying about identity.
Yeah. So once your identity becomes what you accomplish and not who you are, there's the issue. It's not just what you're doing. It's, you're struggling. You step back from that, start to feel like you're losing something.
Yeah.
And when that happens, there's no finish line. I don't know if that makes sense, but if your identity is about what you're accomplishing in life, who you're impressing, who you're trying to keep up with, you're never going to win. You're never going to cross that finish line.
No, it's unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely.
Because it just keeps advancing. And I don't know, then when does success stop feeling like success? I think it's what is success. So I've started to feel like my life success is that my children are healthy
Mm-hmm.
and we're happy
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, that's kind of where my bar is at right now.
Fed, the fed thing.
Bathed. I do care about them being bathed because I hate
Yes.
for like DFACs to get called, be like, your child's a little too homeless today. And I'm like, sorry, she hates taking the bath. But
She
no.
looks dirty.
But yeah, I honestly, I think I did. I have lowered what success means to me. Because at the end of the day, at my end of my life, I'm not going to look back and be like, man, I'm really glad that I became a senior producer and not just a producer.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm going to look back at my life and be like, those moments with my children, with my family, those are what matter. All the adventures I've gone on. I can't say for Cheslie where her goals started or when it started, but sometimes we do think we want these things and then we achieve them and realize
It's not.
it's not enough or it's not what we wanted.
No, it's not what you should center your life around.
Have you ever been in a beauty pageant before?
I have.
Okay, I have too. And I was thinking about once you're in, like it's always winning is the next thing, right? So if you win one, you're kind of naturally going to advance to the next level. Like she got up to Miss USA.
That's huge. And I was not there. I was my mom's little baby doll. But
Were you in the what was the pageant called? Were you in the one that Tara Grinstead?
yes. So I did pageants when I was young, like really little, like before kindergarten.
Oh,
My mom did them.
like the John Benet Ramsey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't look that.
You got all that makeup?
I didn't have.
You weren't that professional?
I didn't have all that big hair and makeup. No, Mama didn't do that to me. I did have the bows. I mean, this was like the early 80s, right? But when I was in high school, my senior year, Mama asked me if I would do a pageant for her before I graduated high school. And I was like, oh, why? And at that time, I was an athlete playing sports. I was in show choir. I was doing other things. I was definitely not a beauty queen. Okay. Would put that there. Never been one either.
Whatever. You definitely got the
No.
legs for it.
No.
Good
But
model. You're so tall.
No.
She's tall.
I'm 6'1", but I was a basketball player. So, but I did it and I was miserable. It's such a hard lifestyle to keep
Yeah.
up when and I was there with girls who I knew in the area at the sweet potato pageant is what it was
Oh,
called.
the sweet
Yeah.
potato pageant.
Osceola, Georgia.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. And I was there with girls who done it like they were career beauty queens, and that's really, really hard lifestyle to keep. It's so competitive.
And I'm not saying this in comparison to Cheslie. I'm just saying this is it can get to that level.
Oh, yeah. What we're trying to tell you our personal stories for was because we were on the small level. We can't even imagine what it was like on her level with the competition and the pressures. And we want to be really careful here because this isn't about saying pageants are bad. Every experience that everyone has is different. There are women, including Cheslie's own mom, who have spoken about the strength, the opportunity, and the platform that comes from the pageant world.
Right. What you prepare for and the skills you develop, the friendships you make. But what we were speaking to is the pressure and the pressure to represent something bigger than yourself, to always be on or embody perfection, even when you're not feeling it.
And honestly, that's not just pageants. That's high-achieving people everywhere. People also keep saying there must have been signs. I don't know. I think, sometimes there's not signs. If we've learned anything from all the true crime stories that we've listened to, sometimes there just aren't signs.
Right? Because sometimes it is like Cheslie where they look perfect. They have everything together and they want you to see that version of themselves. This is on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I have struggled with depression and I'll tell you that I did hide it. I hid a lot of things and I would be alone and those emotions would come out. And I think when she was talking about crying so hard, your teeth hurt.
Yeah.
I can think about moments where I was just so upset like that, where I get so low. I'm one of those people that when I'm happy, I'm like to the sky. I'm so happy, but I crash low really bad. So now I'm on Prozac and it's great because it just evens me out. But I will say though that it breaks my heart to think about that girl just by herself.
Because you empathize.
And she said, I pushed my friends away. I pushed my family away. I hid it from my family.
Sometimes you're not going to see these things and these signs, but, you know, maybe her legacy and who she was and what all she did can teach people that sometimes people that are this bad off, it's not in your face. Like,
Right.
ask your friend if they're all right. You know, if you know some bad things have happened, ask that family member if they're okay. We're not trying to come across as a
Public service announcement.
Yeah. We're not trying to do that.
But I will say, if this episode today has made you think of a certain person, or if it's making you think internally about yourself, please don't ignore it.
Yeah, that's it.
So one thing, how about you? Will you do that one thing before we go?
Think about it. What made this episode hit you personally? Think about that. When you notice something's off, like we tell you this every episode too, if you feel off, it's probably off. So don't ignore your feelings and don't ignore your gut. And one thing before you go, the part that stays with us is how easy it is to look at someone's life and get it completely wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Thinking you see someone and you know exactly what they're going through, especially if it's someone who is doing a really good job at putting a certain persona on. Because I do think that some of those people that look like they have it all together are the ones who are falling apart.
Absolutely. I do too.
I've always thought about that in social media.
How often we assume that someone's okay just because they look like they are. And maybe the truth is some people don't fall apart in front of you, just like Cheslie.
Yeah, they hold it all in until they can't hold it anymore.
And that's the part that doesn't sit right. Now, what we saw, but what we didn't see.
Because nothing about her life looked like it was breaking or falling apart.
Yeah. Maybe that's the point.
Yeah. Maybe we're not as good as we think we are at recognizing it. And we want to pretend like we get it, like we're keyed into everybody's emotions. But let's be real, half the time, it's barely all that we can do to take care of our own emotions.
But once you see it that way, you don't look at people the same. Truth is, success doesn't protect you from struggle. And visibility doesn't mean connection. And the stronger you look on the outside, the harder it can be for people to see when you're not okay.
Because sometimes it looks like a perfect photo on a balcony in New York City.
Cheslie finished writing her memoir before she died, which means even when she was struggling, she was trying to explain it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this episode.
We'll be coming to you next week with
Athena Strand. This case is going to be really emotional. We're going to talk about why stranger danger isn't always enough and what we can do to really prepare our kids and ourselves for these unthinkable situations.
This is Unspoken Truths Unfiltered. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining.
Because the truth matters. And so does how we treat each other. Stay kind. Stay curious. Stay safe. Until next time.